same sign. If we're doing sums, which is addition, we are going to add the absolute values of each. Then add the original sign to our answer. So again, for example, if we have 5 plus 2, 5 plus 2, they're both positive, they have the same sign. 5 plus 2 is 7. Since they're both positive, this stays positive 7. If I do -3 plus -4, they're both negative, they have the same sign. So when I add them, 3 plus 4 is 7, but since they're both negative, my answer is -7. Okay. So here it says, if I add integers with different signs, determine the absolute value of the two numbers and subtract the absolute value of the smaller number from the larger absolute value. This sounds like a lot, but what I want you to pay attention to is what happens here. Okay? In this example, I have -12 plus 15. Notice the first number is negative and the second number is positive, so they have different signs. So what I said to do first is determine the absolute value of the two numbers. Okay, determine the absolute value of the two numbers. Well, the absolute value of -12, sorry, is 12, and the absolute value of 15 is 15. So now I've got 12 and 15. My second step is to subtract the smaller absolute value from the larger absolute value. Well, if I got 15 and 12, 15's bigger, so I take 15 and I subtract it by 12, which gives me 3. And now I need to figure out, well, is 3 going to be positive or negative? Notice what the last line says. It says the solution will have the same sign as the number with the larger absolute value. Well, which one had the larger absolute value? -12 or 15? 15 did. It was the first number we used in our subtraction. It's positive, so this is going to be +3. Okay? Let's look at this one. 17 plus -25. I have different signs again. This one's positive, this one is negative. Okay? The 17 is positive, -25 is negative. So, step 1, find the absolute value of the two numbers. Okay? Absolute value of 17 is 17. The absolute value of -25 is, good, it's +25. Well, between 25 and 17, which one's the bigger absolute value? 25 is. Okay? So we're going to take 25 and we're going to subtract it by the smaller absolute value, which is 17. 25 minus 17 is 8, right? It's 8. But to figure out whether my answer is going to be positive or negative, is that going to be +8 or -8? Well, which one had the bigger absolute value? It was 25, and 25 was originally negative. Okay? This holds more weight. So my solution has to be -8. So what did we basically do? What did we basically do? We looked at this and we said, if we have different signs, I'm going to call this DSS just for the sake of today. Let's say that we did -3 plus 5. Okay? Let's think about what's happening here. we're going to do this two ways. One is we're going to do what we just did. We're going to find the absolute value of each one. Well, that means step one is to find the absolute value of -3 plus the absolute value of 5, which gives us 3 and 5. Okay? Now we're not adding them, so let's actually get rid of this plus sign. I just wanted to show you what we're doing. We're getting the absolute value of -3, and we're getting the absolute value of 5. So we get 3 and 5. Well, which one has the bigger absolute value? 5 does, right? 5 is bigger than 3. So we're going to take 5, and we're going to subtract it by 3. 5 minus 3 gives me 2. And then when we find our solution, we know it's 2, but is it positive or is it negative? Well, when we took our absolute values, which one had the bigger absolute value? 5. 5 is greater than 3, right? And 5 was originally a positive 5. Okay, so I'm going to get positive 2. This is my answer. Now, if I did this on a number line, here's what this looks like. Let's change that color. Let's make it orange. Here we've got, here's 0 and -3. Here's another number line, and here's 0 and 5. Well, to get to -3, we're going left 3, and to get to 5, we're going to go to the right 5. Let's think about what's going on. Okay, so let's make this number line. We're doing the same exact problem. We're doing it with a number line this time. Here's 0. Let's look at the problem again. It says -3. Well, -3 means that we're going to go to the right. To the left 3. Okay, we went to the left 3. And then we're adding 5. Well, if we're adding 5, we just showed that to you right here, right? When I add 5, I actually go to the right 5. Well, if I'm going to the right 5, so I walked to the left 3, and now I'm going to walk back 5 units to the right. Where do I end up? Well, I know this much of it is 3, so I can cross that out. And how much is left over from that 5? Good, 2, right? So I went to the left 3, and then to get back to 0, I went over 3 from here to here, and then I had 2 left. So by the time I got where I was going, I ended up here at +2. Okay, so my answer is +2. Let's try one more. I'm not going to do the number line this time. Let's try this problem. I have -12 plus 22. Okay, try this on your own. If you need to pause, go ahead. So, step 1, again, the absolute value of each of these numbers. So the absolute value of -12, which is just 12, and the absolute value of 22, which is 22. After we find the absolute values, we're going to identify which one is the greater absolute value. Obviously, 22 is greater than 12. So we're going to take 22, and we're going to subtract it by 12. Well, what does that give me? 22 minus 12. 10. So we know our answer is some sort of 10. It's either 10 or -10. Who remembers how I figure out whether it's positive or negative? Good. I look back. Which one had the greater absolute value? It's circled already. Well, what was its original sign? This was a positive 22. So my answer is positive 10. Okay, that's it. And the more you do this, the easier this is going to get.